What's going on, guys? It's MagesticPie. Welcome to Fixing Shinies, a series where I take shiny Pokemon forms and change them around to make them look better or make them look like they make more sense. Please keep in mind that these are based solely on my opinion and you may think otherwise. With that, let's get started. First up on this episode of Halloween-themed Fixing Shinies is Gengar. So what I did with Gengar is normally it's like this purplish and then red eyes, and then it is a lighter shade of purple, almost kind of like a gray white kind of color, and then its eyes are like a really light red or like a pinkish kind of color. So what I did was first I changed the purple to like this green kind of ectoplasm kind of color, really bright green. So the thought train behind that was something a little similar to like that ghost from Ghostbusters, where it's kind of like that greenish kind of color, just a little bit brighter. And then in order to make it just look a little bit better, I changed its eyes from that red to this like goldish yellow, make them seem more like piercing. And then the pupils I changed from like the grayish color to red. So that's Gengar. Second on our list is Misdreavus. So Misdreavus normally is a blue color with pink hair and these red orbs and red and yellow eyes. And then its shiny is like this greenish yellow color, orange hair, and then the orbs stay the same. So first what I did is I changed like the blue teal color of its body and its head, changed that to off-white, kind of really dimmed down blue to make it seem like a little bit more ghost-like. And then I changed like its hair to purple instead of the pink, just because I think the purple complements the really light bluish color a little better than what the pink does. I ended up not changing the orbs in its eyes. I think they actually went pretty well with the color. Maybe that's just me thinking they went well because the colors are so similar, but I think they work pretty well. And going from the normal to the shiny, the orbs aren't changed either, so I don't think it was that appropriate to change them. So that's what I did with Misdreavus. Coming in at number 3 is Shedinja. So Shedinja normally is a tan color with a gray body and a white halo. And its shiny is just slightly lighter, and its body changes from gray to a tannish brown kind of color. So it's not too obvious to tell which one's the shiny and which one's the regular. So what I ended up doing was first I changed its halo color from white to black, and then instead of having a black outline, I lightened it up a little bit to like a grayish color outline to kind of seem like a little bit more ghostly, and I think it works. It works better once we finally get through everything. And then I changed its body from like that tannish color to a off-white. I think it looks pretty cool. It kind of reminds me more of what Shedinja kind of is. I know that cicada shells are like a tannish color, and that's why it is the color that it is. But I think adding in the white rather than the tan kind of really hits into why Shedinja is more of a ghost type other than it being just an empty shell of a cicada. And then I ended up darkening its body just a little bit more, not too dark, to kind of go with the white a little bit better. So that's what I ended up doing with Shedinja. Up next, at number 4, is Spiritomb. Spiritomb is a purple body face kind of thing with like these green and yellow orbs, and then the keystone is like a grayish color. And then its shiny basically just inverts those colors, so now instead of purple, it's blue, and then the orbs are purple and pink, and the keystone's kind of like a yellowish kind of color. So first thing that I did to it is I darkened up the keystone a little bit. Not too dramatic. It looks a little little tiny bit more like a rock kind of color, but not a dramatic change with the color for that. Then I changed the purple to a much darker purple, definitely making it look like a lot more sinister looking than what it did with like the purplish pink kind of color. And then for the orbs and its face, I changed it from the green and the yellow to this blue and green kind of color. I was sort of going off the basis of like picking colors from like a Will-O-Wisp, but not quite. I kind of picked the colors from its shiny form because they actually ended up working out really well, but still not quite. The green isn't from the shiny form at all, just the blue. So that's what I ended up doing with Spiritomb. At number 5 is Chandelure. So Chandelure was a little tricky on what I wanted to do with it. I wasn't completely sure because I really love its shiny form. But anyway, so Chandelure normally is like this black frame chandelier, and then the fire is like a ghostly purple, and then it has like a glass orb as like a face, which glows roughly the same color as the fire as a reflection. And then all that the shiny does is changes that fire from purple to orange. So what I ended up doing to it was I ended up pulling most of the colors from Shiny Litwick to kind of match it, because Shiny Litwick is this blue color for its fire, which is what I did here with Chandelure. And then along with that, to change the black, even though it looked pretty well, I don't think it fit too well with the blue fire. So what I ended up doing with it is I was going more, the chandelier was like a black iron, so I kind of took inspiration from that and made it so it was just like regular iron. So now I changed all the black over to a silver gray kind of color, changed the globe face to match the blue a little bit more, so it's more of a blue kind of hue rather than like a purple. And then once again, pulling from Shiny Litwick, I changed its eyes to match the same color as Shiny Litwick's eyes, which is why they're green rather than maybe a blue or some other kind of color. So that's what I ended up doing with Shiny Chandelure. At number 6 on our list is Gourgeist. So Gourgeist normally is a brown pumpkin that glows yellow on the inside and then has like this brownish body and this pink hair. And then its shiny changes the brown to black and then the pink to purple. Shiny Gourgeist was interesting to do because I like it shiny. I think it's kind of cool. But on the other hand, it kind of reminds me of a rotting pumpkin with how it looks, with it being black. So I made it kind of going off of that sort of, but instead of it rotting, it would be more like a fresh pumpkin. So it was nice and bright orange, just like a typical pumpkin would. I didn't change the glow. I thought the yellow glow was actually appropriate for it, since if you ever look at a jack-o'-lantern, it kind of glows like orange yellow if you have just like a regular candle or light in it, as long as it's not like an LED or a colored light. Then for the rest of its body, what I ended up doing is I ended up pulling the black from the shiny form and changing its body over to that. I didn't really have a particular reason. I thought it would look kind of cool to incorporate the black in there somewhere. I just didn't know exactly where. So I thought the best place to incorporate that would be the head part of its body. And then the hair is kind of like the stringy part of the inside of the pumpkin that normally you would just scoop out and either throw away, or some people will puree it up and eat it. And so that's kind of where I was going with Gourgeist's hair, arms, whatever it really is. So that's what I ended up doing with Gourgeist. And last but not least, number 7 on our list, Mimikyu. Mimikyu was actually a bit of a challenge because it wasn't something that was super obvious on what to do. Because normally it's like this white rag that's kind of worn downish. It used to be yellow, but now it's like worn down and faded. And then its shiny is kind of like a whitish, like maybe it was so worn down that the dye in the fabric just isn't there anymore. It's starting to turn white and everything. So it wasn't super obvious what I exactly wanted to do with it, because I thought it was pretty appropriate on what color Shiny Mimikyu already was. But I got a little bit of inspiration thinking about what exactly Mimikyu is. Mimikyu is kind of interesting in its relationship to Pikachu, because it's known to have a relationship in which it hates Pikachu because Pikachu was so popular, but Mimikyu wanted to basically be popular, and with Pikachu stealing the spotlight on it, it kind of grew this hatred because it was so jealous. So what I ended up doing was I ended up pulling from Shiny Pikachu's colors. So I changed the white rag to a much brighter orange. I thought about dulling it down a little bit more, making it worn out, but I didn't think that really would have worked because it wouldn't be that much of a change between what it was and what it would be now. So I was kind of going off of maybe this is just like a fresh Mimikyu. It's got itself a brand new cloth or whatever. It's much brighter than the original. I just pulled it from Shiny Pikachu's color, made it that, and then what I ended up doing was, since its cheeks were all worn down as well, we had to change that. Once again, pulling from Shiny Pikachu, going from more of that orangish kind of color to a little brighter red. So that's what I ended up doing with our last Pokemon on this list, Mimikyu. And that's about it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this episode of Fixing Shinies. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and a comment what you guys would do instead, or any suggestions you have for future episodes of Fixing Shinies. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more content and ring that bell to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. I'd also like to wish you guys a safe and happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.